Have you ever been out in the desert, when the sun is high above, and everything around you seems to stretch out forever? The endless horizon, the dry, cracking ground beneath your feet, and that feeling, the one you can't quite shake, the feeling that, just maybe, you're not as alone as you think. This is a true story, a story that happened to someone just like you, a story of a journey into the heart of the desert and the horrors that can lie beneath the surface. It was the summer of 2008. Man named Michael decided to go on a solo hiking trip through the desert. He had done it many times before. He'd explored the vast, isolated stretches of land, always seeking solitude. But this time was different. Something didn't feel right from the start. He was no stranger to the desert. He knew its dangers, the heat, the wild animals, the unforgiving landscape. But he was prepared, or so he thought. The sun beat down relentlessly as Michael trekked deeper into the desert, his water supply low, the horizon just as empty as when he first started. The silence was overwhelming. Not a single bird chirped, no wind swept through the dunes, just silence. By the time afternoon turned to evening, something unusual started to happen. The temperature dropped quickly, the cool air of the desert night sweeping in faster than he anticipated. The shadows of the dunes stretched across the land like fingers reaching out, and that's when he heard it. A faint sound at first, almost like whispering, but there was no one around. He glanced over his shoulder, expecting to see someone, a fellow hiker, maybe. But the desert was still. There was nothing but sand and sky. The whispering continued, soft, like a voice carried on the wind. But it didn't sound like wind. It sounded deliberate. Michael's heartbeat quickened. He shook his head. "It's just the desert," he muttered, trying to calm himself. But deep down, he knew that something was off. The air felt heavy, oppressive. As he walked, the whispering grew louder. It was no longer a distant sound, it was close. Too close. He started to run, his legs burning from exhaustion. But he couldn't shake the feeling that something was following him. The sand beneath his feet shifted unnaturally, as if the desert itself was alive, moving under his every step. Then, just as Michael thought he might collapse, he saw something in the distance. A figure, standing alone under the darkening sky. He froze. The figure was tall, draped in dark clothing, its face obscured by a wide-brimmed hat. It was impossible to tell whether it was a person or something else. Michael called out, "Hey, are you all right? Do you need help?" His voice barely echoed in the empty air. The figure didn't respond. Instead, it simply stood there, unmoving, watching him with an eerie stillness that made Michael's skin crawl. Then, the whispering returned louder, more urgent, as if the desert itself was warning him. "Don't go any closer. Turn around." Michael hesitated, but curiosity won. He stepped forward, his heart pounding in his chest. As he got closer, he realized something was terribly wrong. The figure wasn't a person. It was something else. The figure's outline began to distort, flickering like a mirage in the heat. Michael stumbled back, his breath shallow, fear creeping up his spine. That's when he saw the face. It wasn't human. The skin was pale, stretched thin over a skull-like face, with hollow, black eyes staring at him, and its mouth was a twisted, gaping hole that seemed to pull at the air itself, as if calling him closer, drawing him in. Michael turned and ran. He ran as fast as he could, his feet stumbling over the uneven desert ground. But no matter how fast he moved, the whispering followed him. It echoed in his ears, louder and more frantic. The sound of footsteps came closer, as if someone or something was right behind him, gaining on him with every breath. Just as Michael thought he couldn't go any further, he stumbled over a dune and fell into a small depression in the sand. His body ached, but he lay there, too terrified to move. The whispering stopped, and then, complete silence. No more whispering, no more footsteps, just the sound of his own rapid breathing, and the cold, lonely desert. When he finally dared to open his eyes, there was nothing, no figure, no shadow, just the empty, cold desert under the moonlit sky. The figure was gone, as if it had never existed. He didn't stop running. until he found a small desert town hours later, disoriented and exhausted. When he told the locals what happened, they looked at him as if he were crazy. But one man, older and weathered, leaned in close and whispered, "The desert has a way of showing you things that aren't of this world." The man's eyes were dark, as if he knew something Michael didn't. That night, as he lay in bed, Michael couldn't shake the feeling that the whispers would return. The desert was calling him, and it would not be satisfied until it had him. Thank you for watching. Like, share and support us with subscribe.